Welcome to Mission to Inspire with Shola Ajibade, where inspiration, purpose, and abundance come alive. Together, we'll empower lasting change, helping you step boldly into your greatest potential. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Mission to Inspire. Shola here, and I'm here with Sally. Hi, Sally. How are you?
Hello, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You're welcome on our show today. I'm joined with Sally all the way from South Carolina in the United States. She's a real estate investor and educator who teaches around how to legally save money and reduce taxes using the Spendthrift Trust. So, but we'll be talking about that in more detail as we deep dive down into the interview. So, Sally, would you like to introduce yourself better and tell us a little bit more about you?
I appreciate you inviting me to your podcast. Back in 2018, October 2018 was a watershed month for me. I was living in Phoenix, Arizona. My nephew was getting married in Charlotte. I couldn't get the Friday before the Monday off because I was a Medicare broker, open enrollment. His wedding was October 29th. Second thing, my brand new 3-week-old car got hit. Someone ran a red light, hit me in the passenger side, had no insurance. I was upside down by $8,000 on my brand new car. Third thing that happened, my mom and dad were in Goodyear, Arizona, 25 miles west of Phoenix, drove to Charlotte. Thursday before the wedding, my dad calls me to say my mom's in the emergency room. They're not sure what's going on. I worked until Friday before the wedding till 8 o'clock at night, drove myself to the airport, did a red eye, and family tradition, we go to IHOP, International House of Pancakes, for breakfast in the morning. And then we went to the hospital, walked in, and the priest was giving my mom last rites. I did not know she was that sick. She had septic of the blood. She was on a ventilator for 13 months, in a hospital for 15 months, lost her memory for 13 months. But other than that, she came out of the hospital completely fine. But it was a hair raising time. And then I went to a wedding at 3 o'clock that afternoon and had a fantastic time. I was dealing with my parents' mail because my dad stayed with my mom for 9 months in the Charlotte area, and I was going out to their house once a week to do the mail. In the first week of December, a letter that was 27 pages thick was my mom's statement of Medicare. When you're over 65 in the United States, you go on the special Medicare thing. And when I unfolded the 27 pages, it said it was $97,000. My dad, who was a retired officer, everything was paid for. I'm standing in my parents' kitchen. I have 2 car payments because I had to get a new car because my other car was totaled. 2 car payments. I have student loans because I went to graduate school. I have an $8,000 deductible on my health insurance. I have credit card debt, and I'm like, my life's a mess. So I called my friend Glenn right in my parents' kitchen, and he's like, Sally, next Saturday we're having a potluck Christmas party. Bring a $5 gift and some food, and meet my fellow investors. I'm like, I don't know about you, Shola. Do you go to a party where you don't know anybody? A little bit scary. Went to the party, uh, had a great time. In 2019, I wholesaled 7 properties nationwide, paid off $184,000 in debt. Woohoo! I'm a rock star in my real estate group, completely debt free. I'm living the life. I don't know how about you guys, but our taxes are due on April 15th every year, the year before. My CPA called me on April 4th of 2020 and said, hey, congratulations. Your tax rate went from 22% to 24%. I'm like, congratulations?
Goodness me.
That's not congratulations. That's horrible. So I had $50,000 sitting in the bank account, but I needed $97,000. And he set me up on a payment plan. I drove out to his office. He had me sign the paperwork, got my parking validated, went down to the parking garage and literally cried for 20 minutes because where am I going to get another $20,000? Remember April 2020? I don't know how bad it was for you in London, but at the start of COVID, 3 of my properties that I had did not pay me April 1st. They thought, hey, Bank of America, I don't have to pay my mortgage, but I'm Bank of Sally. Drove back home. My boyfriend made me dinner. The two of us stared at each other, and a fantastic book to read. If your audience wants to take a note on this, the Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. It's one of my favorite books. I went to bed, woke up 5 o'clock the next morning, got online because I had read an article on the Rockefellers Spendthrift Trust. It's called The Office. And I'm like, well, if the Rockefellers can save taxes, why can't I save taxes? Um, Researched it for 5 months. When I started both my business and my beneficial spendthrift trust in September of 2020, September 2020, I asked to be the first female mastermind in my real estate group. Have you ever read the book, The Power of Getting Rich, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill?
Yes, yes, I have.
Okay, so based on that, we have masterminds. I was the first female hostess in my real estate group. Very proud of that fact because there's so many men in real estate. And I started teaching them how to save taxes. And we were talking earlier about my thinking and results coach who's in London. She contacted me. She's like, you're thinking too small. You need to start your own company and start telling everybody about this. So in March of 2020, I started The Trust Is You, and I'm saving people thousands of dollars in taxes. I mean, it's amazing. And what they're doing with the money. I mean, some of my people are doing some fantastic things, starting charities, hiring high school kids to teach them skills, things like that. I mean, it's an amazing thing people are doing here. And I love to talk about. So thank you for having me on your show.
Wow. Wow. Thank you so much for sharing. What an amazing journey for you there. What an amazing journey. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. All this happened when I was 53 years old. And at the time, I don't know about yourself, but you're a worker bee and you're trying to save money for retirement. Because I changed my life, 4 years ago, I am now financially free. I'm helping my nieces and nephews. My life has changed only for the better.
Mm, great. Wow. What a journey. What a story. I mean, it could have been worse, but
Oh yeah.
somehow you
Oh
got
yeah.
out of it. And yay, yeah, you are talking about your story and even helping others to get out of that and save them money. And they could use the money to do some good within the
Exactly.
community. Yeah. Oh, so amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much. Um, so I know you've been on TV sharing your knowledge. Wow.
Yes.
How is that
Uh,
for you?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I said, I know you've been on TV sharing your journey, your knowledge. And like you say, the real estate group and they helping people protect their assets as well.
Yes.
So let's talk about the trust.
Okay.
Before we started the show, we were saying something about the trust. Can you just enlighten us a little bit more about that?
I'd love to. The Spendthrift Trust is in the IRS tax code. That's our tax group here. Um, the trust I work with was written by a Harvard law professor 76 years ago. Now his grandson and great grandson run the law firm. But for your audience in England, this comes from England way back when King Henry VIII started the Church of England. I'm going to give you a year, and if it's wrong, please forgive me. 1532, he
Wow.
started the Church of England. He
Mhm.
went to go tax the lords and ladies of England, and they went further back to the Magna Carta and said, no, 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 King Henry VIII, you can't do this. It's contract law that came to the colonies while we were still part of England. The law firm I work on behalf of inherited a trust that turned 350 years old in 2023. Before we were a country, people had this trust. So thank you to your people in England for teaching us how to save money.
Yeah. Oh my God, way to go, England, way to go, UK. Thank you so much for sharing. So, can you explain what initially, well, you've already said what initially inspired you to start, but what, um, in terms of exploring the financial tool that you currently use, so that is the UK, was it the UK that inspired you to use your financial tools, or is there anything that inspired you?
Actually, a true story. I started my company, my coach, Susan Ma, who's in London, I have came over to visit her 3 times, and she took me to a networking group. And I met, he's an attorney in London. And this is what he told me. The trust that's in England got changed because of Brexit when you left the EU.
Mhm.
He goes, they can only save 85,000 pounds per year. I'm like, That's still a lot of money. Saving 85,000 pounds a year. That's, you know, I don't seize at that.
Yes, yes. Oh my God. Oh my God. 85,000 pounds. It's still a lot of money, like you said. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, just give you an idea. You know, if you know, New Jersey's just south of New York. I
Mm,
have a mechanic. He and his wife file their taxes jointly. There's four ways to file your taxes.
mm,
They're saving $36,469 per year,
mm.
per month, $3,039. He's got three grown children. They want nothing to do with his auto body shop. He went to the local high school. He hired two kids in high school who want to learn how to be auto mechanics. You know, he's paying them $15 an hour with the money he's saving, and now he can bring in more business because he's open on Saturdays. Saturdays because the kids can work on Saturdays, and you know that's just one of the great stories.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing. You transitioned from being an insurance agent 20 years ago to a real estate investor. And I know
Correct.
you talked about your mother's illness and how that pushed you towards this major life change experience. But how did your mother's illness change everything? How?
It was very interesting when she was on a ventilator. My dad stayed with her. He came home for only 1 week, and this happened in October of 2018. He came home for a week in February because he had to go to see his doctors. When we brought her back to Phoenix, that was in May of 2019. This was before COVID. I went to five different places that supposedly had ventilators because I knew my mom had to be on a ventilator, and I learned everything. Well, when she finally got strong enough to come home, she still needed help. I mean, she, you know, one of the things we had to help her with was it was 120. Well, you guys do meters. It was 120 feet for her to go from her favorite chair to the bathroom, and then we put in like I put in railings for her to lean on while she went down the hall because her strength wasn't too good. Um, the last thing she said to me, which she did pass away, but I was giving her a shower. I didn't have to be at work till 10:30 in the morning, so I gave her a shower, and I was completely wet, and I just changed into other clothes, and I said, "Hey, I'll be here for dinner tomorrow night." My mom goes, "I love you, Sally. Thank you for helping." And unfortunately, she passed away that night. She got a blood clot in her heart, and she had a heart attack. But I mean, those were the last words she said to me, which I thought were beautiful. I mean, it's the nicest thing I could think of.
Oh my
I'm
goodness.
gonna cry now.
Sorry to
Sorry.
hear about that. Yeah. Right. So many people don't understand how rich legally avoid paying high taxes. And for a lot of people, they feel that the rich are evading taxes. And I know that they're wrong because there are ways of, I won't say avoiding taxes, but saving money, saving on paying high taxes legally. So can you, talk us through the Spendthrift Trusts? What are the key benefits for people on everyday investors?
There's great question. There are four major benefits. The first one, saving taxes. Everybody wants to save taxes. You save taxes year after year, generation after generation.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, you're going to keep your information private. I don't know how you do it in England, but here people get LLCs, S corps, or C corps. But that's statutory law. What people do in Arizona versus what's here in North Carolina versus what's in South Carolina or Georgia, completely different.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone can go onto the Secretary of State or the Corporation Commission webpage because different states have different laws and research their LLCs, S corps, or C corps.
Yeah.
40% of all these companies get sued every year. So the third benefit, all lawsuits become frivolous and go away. A true example, one of my clients who has some rental properties, the renter's dog got out, bit the mailman. Mailman tried suing the owner, my client, and he just sent the trust, and he's like, "I'm sorry, go after the renter. It's his dog, not my dog. You can't sue me."
Mm-hmm.
And then the fourth way, there's a very strange rule here in the United States that very few people know about. It's coming from the Treasury Department. If you are an LLC, an S corp, a C corp, or doing business as if you file your paperwork saying, "Hey, I'm a Avon lady," or I'm doing business as something, you need to file paperwork with the Treasury Department by December 31st of 2024, or be fined $10,000 and or 2 years in jail. If you have a
Jesus
Spendthrift Trust,
Christ.
you're exempt from that. Oh, even the scarier thing, no one's talking about it. I have CPAs who call me to ask me more information about that. I'm like, here's information from fintech, because people don't know about it. It's the craziest rule that no one's talking about. And $10,000 is a lot of money. And 2 years in jail, I would want to do that.
No, no, nobody would want to do that. Nobody would want to be in jail 2 years. And on top of that, £10,000. Oh
Exactly.
my
And could you
God.
imagine
Oh my, that's
when
why
you're going to jail, there's going to be drug runners, there's going to be murderers, and they're like, I'm in jail for not doing paperwork. Like, yeah, you're going to get beat up, so
oh my God. Oh my God.
it,
Wow.
it, you know,
Wow.
it's, it is interesting because it's going to affect the small businesses in the United States, not the Walmarts, the Amazons, the big businesses. It's the small mechanics, the online shop, the people who have Shopify stores, Amazon stores. They don't know this information. So what I personally do is 6 videos a day on TikTok. I put it to YouTube. I put it to I've been banned from Instagram for a week, so that we won't discuss that. But
Mm,
to LinkedIn and to Facebook, because I just want to get the word out to as many people as possible.
right. And that's why they say knowledge is power, is wealth.
Yes.
If you don't know it, no matter how rich you are, you might still be missing out. So
Well,
yeah.
one of my clients, seriously, very wealthy person, he's just like, I've never heard of the Spendthrift Trust before. I'm not trying to crow about how much he's saving,
Mhm.
but brilliant person doing brilliant work and making high seven figures in money every year, and he's just like, how come no one's told me this before? I'm like, I can't tell you that. I don't know why, but now you've learned.
Exactly. Now you've learned. That's the thing.
Yes.
Now you've learned. Thank you so much for sharing that information. With the
I
proposed tax
appreciate you having me.
increases and the new IRS hires, how do you see the Spendthrift Trust protecting individuals from increased tax burdens and judgments in the future, just from
Okay.
what we were discussing?
And this is a true story. A grown son, 28 years old, saw my TikTok video in December. He
Mhm.
contacted me on TikTok, sent me a message going, my parents are selling a family restaurant March 30th, 2024. I said, I need to talk to your dad. Never been on Zoom before. Jim and his brothers, 42 years ago, built this restaurant. They're selling it for $3 million, everything in it. And because he got the Spendthrift Trust, he will not pay, because long-term capital gains, he will either pay $450,000 at 15% or
Mhm.
$600,000 at 20%. Jim's 69. His wife, Marianne, is 64. I mean, this is their retirement. They're going to leave something to their children. And the neat thing is, he told his business broker who was selling the restaurant, the business broker told the gentleman who's buying the restaurant, he's got the business trust, and the business broker I have an affiliate program, and he made money off that deal. So yes, it's win 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 for everybody.
That's true. Win, win, win for everybody. Win, win, win for
Exactly.
everybody.
Yes.
Thank you so much. For someone new to the concept of trust, especially, what are the first steps they should take to understand this and how can it actually benefit them?
That's a great question. Here in the United States, 97% of trusts sold every year are what my mom and dad had. And do you know who Susie Orman is?
Oh,
She's a
no.
financial person. She talks about the family trust. The
Right.
family trust just avoids probate and then dissolves. This
Yeah.
is what the Rockefellers, the DuPonts, the Carnegies, the Kennedys, super rich families, when our tax code went into effect in February of 1913, they made sure they could save money. This goes from generation to generation. It keeps your information private. You pay no judgments if you get sued. It's not my mom and dad's trust. And,
Mhm.
that's why I try to tell people this is something the rich know. And, you know, we're in the middle of elections right now. And they're like, we're going to tax the rich. I'm like, the rich know how to avoid taxes. There's a reason why they're rich.
That's very true. There's a reason why they are rich. Thank you so much for coming on our show today. For people that might want to contact you, Sally, how can they?
But I have a free class on the Great Discovery. So it's www, my first name, my last name, squished together.com. And my website, if you go out to www.thetrustisYou.com, you'll get a free video that explains more about this. And I just want to say thank you for having me on the show. I appreciate that.
Thank you so much for coming on our show today. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Sally, have you got any last minute word of advice for anyone out there?
My last piece of advice, just do something. I mean, when I was 53 years old and literally eating ramen noodles again, I decided to change my life. Anyone can change their life at any time. Take it from Nike, just do it.
Yeah, just do it, people.
Just
do it. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for joining us today, Sally. We really appreciate you for coming. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, and keep on downloading, subscribing, listening, and commenting on our shows, especially this one. We want your comments. We want you to contact Sally. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. And until next time, Ishala and Sally on Mission to Inspire. Bye, everyone.